Good evening and welcome to Wednesday night class with Reverend Bob. And we've been back now. We've had 2 weeks off and we're back tonight with Romancing the Soul. And again, our wonderful book, Romancing the Soul. And here we go, Reverend Bob.
Hi, my gang. Hi. So good to see you again. Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's start off our night with a meditation, shall we? Just your feet flat on the floor, the bottom part of your spine up against the back of your chair, breathing gently in through your nose. When I say gently, I mean softly. I mean sweetly. Sweet, soft, gentle breaths in through your nose, in and holding it just a bit. And then when you let it go, just let your whole body relax. Let your whole body just sort of fall into that. Just fall into that meditation. So you're surrounded by subatomic waves, actual waves, real things. You can't see them because they're not visible. They're actually grace. It's the breath and the presence of God, of Holy Spirit, of Great Spirit, of the creative presence, of the great mind. And as you breathe gently, gently, gently in, loving yourself so much, and just relaxing that breath away. And breathing in so gently, gently, gently. And then when it's time to just let that breath flow out and flow away. And each time you breathe in, you're breathing in the grace of God, the breath of God, the breath of eternity. And each time you exhale, you're breathing yourself out into the universe. So now when you inhale, imagine that there's oxygen molecules going in the little alveoli in your lungs, and they're going through your lungs, down through your blood vessels, down through your arteries and the small arterioles into every single cell of your body, every cell, somewhere between 35 and 50 trillion cells. Each of them individual and unique and different than any other cell. Each of them unique and different and special with their own consciousness. And that oxygen molecule, which is the breath and the grace of God, goes into that cell and rejuvenates it and lights it up and blesses it and relaxes it. Oh boy. And all those 35 to 50 trillion cells are dancing in harmony with each other in your body. Dancing in harmony with each other. Because you, O spiritual one, have called them together. And they are here in service to you. To you, O light of the world. So now as you breathe in, and you breathe in the breath and the grace of God, and as you breathe out, begin to feel that welling up from the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers, moving up toward the top of your head. So you're breathing, you're bringing that energy up through your body, up through each of your chakras, up, up, up. It comes up, up. And as you exhale, It goes up from your heart chakra to your throat chakra. And as you exhale, it goes from your throat chakra to your higher mind, to your third eye. And as you take that next breath in of pure grace, then when you release it, that energy goes up above the top of your head. Your intelligence, your awareness, your consciousness is now over the top of your head. Over the top of your head. You are in your higher mind. And there, the beautiful, sweet grace of God. And you are one. There's no thinking up here. There's only awareness. I'm going to be quiet for a little while and just let you be in your higher mind. And if you will, as you breathe out, you can allow that to expand, because your higher mind can be the size of a tennis ball, or the size of a grapefruit, or the size of a cantaloupe, or the size of a watermelon, or it can be any size. It can be the entire universe. Just be in your higher mind and let it take you where it will. Just be in your higher mind and let the music soothe you. As you breathe out, just allow yourself to move out farther and farther into space. You are so loved. You are so blessed. You are safe. You are free. You are loved. You are blessed. You are safe. You are free. You are safe. And your body is completely well. Your body is completely well. You are love. You are joy. You are peace. You, my dear, dear friend, are whole, perfect, and complete, exactly the way you are. Please know that you are loved, completely and totally loved. And that you are love, completely and totally love. And you are blessed. And you are a blessing. And you are safe. You are always protected by the mighty voice and the mighty mind and mighty heart of the universe that knows who you are. And you are free, no longer constrained or obligated by anything other than to be true to yourself for an eternity. In just a little while the music will fade. Then take your time coming back to the room, back to the group. And when you come back, bring back this self with you. Well, my dear, dear friends, so I'm hoping that you all were able to read chapter 7. Chapter 7, I had a lot of fun writing that chapter, I have to tell you. It was a good time. So before we go any further, I'd like to see if there's anyone who has information or thoughts about that chapter that they'd like to share. I'd sure love to hear your thoughts. Anyone?
It's helpful if you use the reaction button in the far right-hand corner of your screen so we know. There we go, Barbara. Barbara, you're up now.
Thank you, Barbara. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Reverend. What was really touched what with the description which touched me from your this chapter is the way it was the description of the seemingly deadly illness, where is you are asking the patient, the person, the friend, the lovely child of God to envision it as a flower. I am going personally through all, as well as through the challenge of medical challenge, and I practiced that is your solution. I thought, well, why wouldn't I? I mean, we are all one, we are all united, and what is the form of the illness? It doesn't matter. So I must say I feel really good about it. I feel really good about opening up to that different chapter in my life with more acceptance and self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness, which is there is no blame. It is just the way for what things millions of other people are going. But I have a choice to go with it with grace, as meditation said, or choose a different path. So thank you for that. That was very inspiring.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. I just a quick word about that is that dear friend of mine, she did have some rubbish on the streets of her past, as most of us do. Most of us, if you look in the rearview mirror, you'll see some stuff back there that isn't quite what it's supposed to be. The trash can's blown over and there's paper towels and cans out on the street, and some of the lawns are not mowed and the bushes are overgrown. And you know that's true in your past, a lot of you. And I know that it was true in Joanne's past. And so when I asked her to go back and look through the rearview mirrors of her soul and look at that street behind her being completely clean, with no rubbish, with nothing but beautiful flowers and beautiful, happy, clean families living there. And she was able to do that. Then what the doctors had seen very clearly on their scans as being quite a large brain tumor, which was a glioblastoma, which those of you who might be involved in medicine know is almost an incurable cancer. They went in and they found no tumor in her head. Now, I want to be careful here, because it sounds like what I'm saying is that if you have cancer, or if you have a disease that might end up being terminal, that means that you've got junk in your past that you haven't healed, because if you had healed it, you wouldn't be sick. That's not necessarily true. We each come in to this incarnation. Let me go back just for a moment. If you see the creative, to begin with, let me just go even another step back to remind you of something. When I say the creator, I also mean the created. Because every tree, every rock, every child, every tear, every raindrop, every snowflake, every wave lapping on the beach, every grain of sand on the farthest planet, every single thing, everything is God. Everything is God. And so when I say, and I'm going to say right now, you go into the great sea, which we could imagine that being one of the great oceans or all the great oceans of the world. And it's okay to imagine that, but just don't think I'm talking about water. I'm talking about all existence in all galaxies and all universes forever and ever and ever. All of that is created, and it is the creator. There is no creator outside of the created. Boy, just please hear that. There is no creator outside of the created. Therefore, you can pray to a tree or to a rock as easily as you can pray to sky or to some imaginary being somewhere. Because the creator is the created. There is no creator other than the created. And the created, as you can see in life, is constantly evolving and revolving and opening and growing. And I have a fig tree and a peach tree and 2 apple trees. And right now they're just sticks. They're just standing up there. They're just sticks. In a little while, they get these little tiny buds on them. And then after a while, some leaves will come out, and then some blossoms, and then there'll be beautiful fruit, and the fruit will be just delicious and wonderful. And then there'll be sticks again. It's all being created. The creation is all going on right now. Of the 37 trillion to 50 trillion cells that are in your body, they're all being replaced all the time. They're passing away and being replaced by new cells. It's a constant creation going on. The created is the creator. Okay, now having said that, when we were in, before we came into these bodies, when we were in the great sea, when we had not yet manifested into these bodies, we were just consciousness. And boy, we're going way out tonight, so just get out on the edge of your seat and let your legs hang over and really listen, because when you are as consciousness in the great sea, before you become this person that you are right now, you are the great sea. Can you hang on to that? You are all of consciousness. You are pure, total, complete, 100%, unconditionally God. There's nothing that's God that is not you. You are God. Now, remember, I said the creator is the creator, and there's no creator other than the created. That means that you are always created. That means that you are always created in one form or another. So when you, great God that you are, decide to incarnate into this individual being that you are right now, you have an opportunity to walk a certain path in your life. And as you walk that path, there will be logs that you will stumble over. There will be mud holes that you will fall into. There will probably be snakes and bees and wasps that bite you. You will lose friends. You will have your heart broken. You will get your leg broken. You will be abandoned. You will be left alone. You'll find great joy. You'll come upon meadows of wildflowers so delicious in their scent and in their visual beauty that it'll make you weep. And you'll lay yourself down and sleep there for a few nights. All of that is you experiencing and expressing in this created, so that as a spiritual being, as the creator, you can grow in wisdom and joy. Because wisdom and joy are the natures of God. There's the natures of Holy Spirit. Boy, I hope you're getting this. So that means that when you came into this incarnation right now and you get cancer and it doesn't get cured and you die, that isn't a mistake. That's not a mistake. And it's not because you had something crappy in your past that you didn't get cleaned up. Or maybe you didn't get it cleaned up, and maybe that was part of the problem that you moved out of this incarnation and into another. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter because you live forever. Nothing in this sea that we call the created, nothing ever dies. Nothing ever dies. You say, well, I could take this piece of paper and I'll light a match to it and I'll burn it and it'll be gone. No, it won't be gone. It's turned into gases. It's transformed into other forms, but it's not gone. And you can't be gone. You are a flowing, moving part of this eternal universe. Always, 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 always. So, as dear Barbara said to us, that she read about Joanne, and I don't even think I mentioned Joanne's name in my book, but that and that she had cured herself, but all of us won't cure ourselves, because some of us are going to have those events, those difficulties, those experiences, so that we might grow in wisdom and joy. Now, I could tell you that I've watched an awful lot of people die, and I can only think of a relatively small number, very small number, less than 3% of them that were in distress when they died. Most of them were just fine. Most of them had accepted it just fine. They might have had terrible death fears earlier in their life, but they weren't afraid then, because they were moving back into the Creator. They were transitioning back again. So when we look at this process of being the creator or being the created, we have to have an acknowledgement of the great powerful being that we are. In order to do that, you have to be committed. You have to be committed. You have to get yourself committed. Committed to life. I showed you before a slide on commitment by W.H. Murray. And that commitment, unless you're committed, there's a tendency to fall back. There's a tendency to not do what you can do, what you should do, what you will do. There's a sense of failure within you. You have to be committed to life, and you have to be committed to life in all of its forms. So we're now here to work on the triangle, and you see the simple triangle. That simple triangle is that's so easy, right? Be, you get clarity when you go from be to do. You get courage when you go from do to have, when you get confidence when you go from have to be. Now, let me ask you a question. Who wouldn't want more clarity, courage, and confidence? Who among us would not want to have more clarity, courage, and confidence? Then it would make sense that you would want to go from be to do to have to be to do to have as often as possible, so that you can continue to gain more clarity, more courage, and more confidence, as a spiraling upward process, right? And when you do that, then eventually you work into the full triangle, the whole triangle. And that looks a little bit more difficult, doesn't it? It looks a little bit more complicated. But it's not. It's not any more difficult than a simple triangle. You can't see my cursor, so I'll just talk to you about it. You look down in the lower left-hand corner in the soft blue, and it says be. Be still and know who you are. And you have two choices there, and they're shown very clearly. One is to go into avoidance, and the other one is to go into discovery. That's a choice. That's always a choice. On each of the three legs of the triangle, each of the 3 points of the triangle, you have choices. This is how you make a decision about your life, what you're going to experience and express and grow in wisdom and joy. If I decide that I'm going to go into discovery, then I'm going to gain clarity. I'm going to ask, what's my vision? What's my mission? Who's on my support team? What's my next step? And I'm going to go up into do, change, and dare to grow. But if I don't do that, if I'm down in B and I say, I don't know if I want to go into my vision, I don't know about a vision. I had a vision once. I think it was a vision. Maybe it was a goal. I don't know. And my mission, that all sounds confusing to me. Then you just go into avoidance, but you don't have any other choice. You either go into a discovery or you go into avoidance. And if you go into avoidance, it's okay. You go into the inside of the triangle. And there's no creativity on the inside of the triangle. The inside of the triangle is a place of despair. When you go into the inside of the triangle, and look, just once again, if you're on the outside, if you go into discovery, you say, what's my vision? What's my mission? Who's on my support team? What's my next step? If you go onto the inside of the triangle, look where you go, into boredom. You go into avoidance, and avoidance leads you into boredom. Avoidance leads you into boredom. And look at these steps. I just look at these steps, look at them. I feel numb. Life is boring. I am boring. I'm hiding from the truth. So you have those two choices right there. And if you go inside, then, and I know you've been in boredom before, but stick with me. I'm going to show you something here just in the next little bit. We're going to get that next step of the triangle, and you're going to be really blown away by what's going to happen. So here I go. I'm going to stay on the outside of the triangle. I'm going to go for clarity. So I'm going to go into discovery. What's my vision? What's my mission? Who's on my support team? What's my next step? And I'm going to come up here to do, change, dare to grow. And once again, I have two choices. I don't have to go into risk. That's one of the two choices, but I don't have to take a risk. Who wants to take a risk? Don't forget risk. Then I can go into anxiety. Do you know why? Now, please pay attention because you don't see this on the triangle. All around the outside of the triangle where you see white, that's not white. That's not space. That's energy. It's the energy that we often call fear. It's that triangle is sitting in a pool of energy. Your life as a triangle is sitting in a pool of energy, and it's bubbling and cooking all the time. And that triangle is sitting in a pool of energy. And the energy of fear, which you could also call love, you can call it anything you want, but it's just energy. It's going on. It's all around that triangle. So right now, when I'm at do, change and dare to grow, and I say take a risk, if that fear is too big for me, if I'm too much afraid, I'm saying I'm not going to take a risk. Then I go into anxiety. Fear takes you either into risk or anxiety. There's no other place. Fear takes you into risk or fear takes you into anxiety. This is life. You can't avoid this. Unless you stay stoned or drunk, you can't avoid this. This is life. And if you go into anxiety, then you go down here into paralysis. The minute you go to the inside of the triangle from over here, as down below when you went into avoidance, you went into boredom. And now when you go out of do into anxiety, you go into paralysis. That's a choice. And then you say, oh, I feel tired. I feel lonely. Everything's so impossible. And that now you're in this paralysis line here. You're in that line of paralysis. Now, let's just say that you don't do that. Let's just say that you say, I'm going to take a risk. So now you take a risk. So you're going to gain courage over here. As you gain clarity over here, you're going to gain courage over here by taking a risk. I'm expanding my identity. Now, stay with me for a minute because this is one of the most important parts of the triangle. Remember back over here in the lower left-hand corner, that soft blue where it says be? The whole triangle is about be. The whole purpose of the triangle is for you to be more than you think you are. To know that you are more than you think you are. So when you come up there in that first step in risk, that first step going into courage, I'm expanding my identity. That's scary, but that's a risk. That's scary, but I'm expanding my identity. What does that mean? It means that I said, this is my vision and this is my mission. And now since that's my vision and that's my mission, that was something that was more than me. It was beyond me. It was bigger than me. It was like just a dream. It was just a vision out there. Now I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to expand my identity so that I encompass that vision, so that that vision is inside of me, as me. And then I say, I'm focused on my vision, I'm following my mission, working my mission, and I'm contributing. Now, each one of these 4 steps can be difficult. That's okay. Life is difficult. Life is difficult. So I'm expanding my identity. I'm focused on my vision. I'm working my mission, and I'm contributing. Now, they may be difficult, but this is the most exciting time of life. Right in there, that's the most exciting time of life. I remember when my daughter was playing soccer on a soccer team, and her team was a good team, was a really good team, but it wasn't a top team by any means. And then now this next Saturday, we're going to play the number 1 top soccer team in the league. They haven't lost a game. Our girls pretty much know they're probably going to get beat. The game is being played in a mountain town, and it's been snowing and raining and snowing and raining. And when we get to this little mountain town and we get to the soccer field, it's slush and snow and mud. And the girls, and I said to the girls, I said, look, you're going to go out there, you're going to fall on your butts, and you're going to get beat up, and you're going to get cold, and you're going to get muddy, and it's going to be miserable. And, you might lose this game. Do you want to just forfeit the game? And they all looked at me like I was crazy. Forfeit the game? We want to play the game. Get me on the field. That's life. That's what happens on the triangle. When we're in the triangle, you take a risk. You come down here on this side, and you're working. You're taking a risk. You're expanding your identity. You're focusing on your vision. You're working your mission, and you're contributing. And you are contributing. By golly, when you have the courage to get out there in front of everybody else and take a risk beyond your comfort zone, you are contributing. Every little kid in the world's watching you. You're being heroic. And then you come down to this place of have. Remember, be, do, have? And in have, you give thanks. You celebrate your win. You choose joy. But if you don't have to. Because see, here's and I have to tell you something. This is where almost everybody that fails on the triangle fails. Check it out. This might be you. I'd say 90% of the people who fail on the triangle fail right there at that corner. Do you know why? Because they don't feel worthy of owning themselves as winners. They don't feel worthy of that. They say, I should have done it, could have done it, would have done it different, better, could have, I should have, I would have, should have, darn it, I didn't get this. So instead of going into self-love, they go into unworthiness. 2 choices right there. I can go into unworthiness, I can go into self-love. If I go into unworthiness, I go into a place, remember over here, when I went inside, I went into boredom. Avoidance took me into boredom. Up here, anxiety took me into paralysis. Down here, unworthiness takes me into guilt and shame. It's guilt and shame isn't about anything. It's a state of mind. It's an identity. It's an identity that you have of yourself, of guilty, shameful person. And if you fall into that trap, and I can tell you most people do, when they're first working the triangle, most people give up before they go too far because they get to that corner over there and they just can't make the corner. They just can't make the corner. But if you make the corner and you go into self-love, then you'll see something that you've heard me do in every meditation you've ever heard me in, and that's that I am loved, I am blessed, I am safe, I am free. Those 4 affirmations I have said, I don't know, I'd like to know how many, probably 100,000 times. Can't tell you how many times I've laid awake at night trying to sleep or being bothered by something and I'm saying, I'm loved, I'm blessed, I'm safe, I'm free. Sometimes I go, okay, Bob, I'm loved. Are you loved? Yes, I'm loved. I'm loved. And I'm blessed. Are you blessed? Are you really blessed? I'm blessed. Do you feel blessed? I'm blessed. I'm loved and I'm blessed. And I do that until I feel it. I'm safe. I'm safe. What am I worrying about? I'm safe. And I'm free. I'm free. I can make decisions. I can, you know what? I can pack up my pack and walk out the door tomorrow and go anywhere in the world I want. Nothing to stop me. I'm free. So yes, I'm loved, I'm blessed, I'm safe, I'm free. But I can't get there unless I'm worthy and go into self-love. Now, here's the nifty thing. Let's look at the triangle again. Here's the nifty thing. When I come back to B, I'm not the same person that was in B before. I'm not that same person. I'm a different person. I'm totally a different person now. I've gone up because the triangle spirals upward, upward, upward. Every time I go around that, I become more powerful. I become more spiritually powerful. I become clearer in my mind, more courageous and more self-confident. So why wouldn't I go around that triangle as many times as possible? So every single experience you have in every day is an opportunity to go around the triangle. Now I'm going to send you to your breakout rooms. And there's a question relative to this triangle. And I want you to pay really close attention to this. Because if you've been reading the book and you've been looking at the triangle, and if you've been listening tonight, something should be happening in your life. We have people who are playing Major League Baseball. We have people who are playing Major League Soccer. We have people who are leaders in government. We have several people who are top performers in their nations. Several movie stars all got there when they started. Oh, and 3 top-selling authors, #1 top-selling authors, including Chicken Soup from the Soul and Conversations with God, and another one. All those happened from the triangle, from people coming through the class and doing the triangle. They were just like you and me, just kids on the block. So you're going to go into your breakout rooms. Now you're going to have a half an hour. Let's see what you can do with that. How's the triangle changing me and my life? The homework is to read chapter 8. You're going to love chapter 8. It's going to be really interesting for you. And set a vision for this week. Something that you will accomplish this week. See, I don't want it to be a huge thing. Set a vision for this week and walk the triangle. Walk through the triangle to achieve it. So that when you come back, you'll say, yes, I set a vision. I made my mission. I got my support team. I took my next step. I expanded my identity, worked my vision, worked my mission, contributed, celebrated my win, and went into self-love. I'm loved, I'm blessed, I'm safe, I'm free. Yes, yes, yes. Do that this week, please. And read chapter 8. I love you.